Hello and welcome to Community Crumpet, a tasty slice of community spirit. I'm Tony, and in this episode, we are talking to two people I've just dragged in off the street, and they are part of the Love Barrow Awards. It is Amanda, it is Dave, and this podcast is all about the stories, people and ideas that make our community stronger, and these two guys certainly do that. How are you doing, guys?
I'm good, thanks, Tony. Thanks for having us.
I'm better hearing your dulcet tones, my friend.
My dulcet tones, they're not squeaky. Most people say I have a squeaky voice, but today it sounds nice, warm and mellow. Anyway, listeners, let's get Crumpet going. So Amanda, Dave, you've come here today to talk about the Love Barrow Awards. For those people that don't know about the Love Barrow Awards, and there can't be many people out there, surely not, what's it all about?
You can take that one, Amanda.
So the Love Barrow Awards is a community award show, and it's been going for over 20 years now. So the awards is all about celebrating the community and the amazing people in it. So we get people to nominate each year, all the amazing people and groups and projects and organisations in the area. And then we, with an amazing committee and judging team, narrow that down. And then we pick 24 finalists over 10 categories. And we go on to the awards in March.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just being as a local resident in the town, I hear so much about your organisation. It's going from strength to strength. And like you said there, 20 years, so 20 years in the making. And from what I can gather with people saying, it has now become a juggernaut of success. And that doesn't come without a lot of hard work. You guys must have put so much hard work into this.
Well, there has been a lot of hard work, obviously, but we couldn't do what we do without the community being the fantastic place it was.
Well, I think, listen, you honestly, Dave, you're dead right there. Our community is very close-knit. Everybody tends to know each other, and we're very, very supportive of each other. So you've really said the right tone there.
Well, I like to think that I do that quite often, but it has been a lot of work. I mean, originally 20 years ago, it was set up as just a nice little celebration for the community. We were brought in about 2012 to take over some of the videos that were being created, and we just got more and more involved as people had to step away because of funding cuts and things like that. And we always knew that there was something in the awards, that definitely something in the community with the people that we were meeting every year. But the awards itself was absolutely a vehicle to basically not only recognise, but to celebrate and then inspire people.
Well, I think, and again, when you pick up stuff, you pick up when you're out drinking, socialising, and people talk about the Love Barrow Awards and it's build-up, and it's like, I can't get a ticket. It's like a more chance of getting hold of the King's personal hold all for the gym than getting a ticket for the Love Barrow. It's like a golden ticket. It has become that popular and such a sought-after event over the years.
They are like gold dust. They are like Willy Wonka's golden tickets. We always have a waiting list. People even on the day are like, have you got a ticket? Have you got a ticket? And people are like... asking the guests, asking the sponsors, "Oh, can you get me a ticket?" It's nice to be in that position. I wish we could like double the venue and bring more people in.
The last minute cancellations that sometimes happens with these events sometimes do make people's day, because I'll be phoning up or emailing somebody say, "Hey, we've got 2 tickets to the awards. Would you like to come?" And without any hesitation, it's yes. People cancel. People kind of like get their glad rags on and they come because they know it's such a great night with a great host.
I think there's an element of people put this into their diary at the beginning of the year. It's in March. It's the Love Barrow Awards. And apparently there's this goon that keeps putting on a different jacket every year, and people are just dumbfounded by the silliness. But, you know, joking aside, what you've done over 20 years is superb. And the first ever Love Barrow Awards actually took place in Abbey House, and then as it moved forward, your home became the forum. The home has now come back to Abbey House, and people are actually saying, what a fantastic venue. This is like, well, we say it's like the Red Carpet Awards now. It's the Hollywood BAFTAs, and rightly so, because you guys are bringing all this community genius into one room, and there's an awards night. It is something so special.
I absolutely adore being back at Abbey House. It's such a beautiful venue. The team are amazing. Laura and the events team up at Abbey House, I can't fault them. They are supportive. They're there for us. If we have a problem, they fix it. It's just amazing. It makes my life as the event coordinator just so much easier.
There's always something as well with any sort of awards or any sort of event. You've got to have your key people behind you that are happy to sponsor you. And again, rumour has it, there's people knocking on the door to sponsor. You've got all these high-ranking sponsors that are actually there doing the business. What's your tale on that?
Well, it's very true. I was actually talking to a prominent business person the other week, literally last week, and they were saying, I can't believe that I'm in a queue for something. But then
it's brilliant.
But then he kind of like paused and went, no, I completely understand why I'm in a queue, because I want it, so must other people. And that's not just us kind of like going, oh, marketing and media, although I am quite good with the marketing. It's more about kind of like when you are in the room, you can see it, and you can see the experience of people who don't do what they do for recognition, but having the entire room give them applause, have that moment of recognition, it means so much.
It's so clear from what people say the following days after an awards, but you've actually got a number of awards which cover a different variety of areas in our community. You have a number of awards, don't you?
That's right. I think, if my counting's right, there's 10 awards on last count. So we have a student, community focused business, then we go on to teacher, and then carer, which is always a popular one, and then there is our Oak Tree Award, which is a couple of years old now, but that came from lockdown actually. Oak tree was planted in the park on the 1 year anniversary of the COVID lockdown, and we chose to work with a few local organisations and came up with the idea of Oak Tree, which is all about, as it grows, it strengthens, it puts its roots in the community, and it's there to support. So that's one of our newer ones. And then after that is the newest one, which is Spirit of Collaboration, which is a joint award, it's unusual. So we pick an organisation and they choose an individual that they've worked alongside with to make amazing things happen in the community. And then a group or project, Citizen and our Young Citizen, which is always really popular. And then we also have the People's Choice Award, which is where all 24 finalists get put into a public vote, which is great because so many people are just like, how can I vote? How can I vote? So we created People's Choice Award to allow the community to actually have a voice with the awards. And then finally, obviously, you'll know yourself, Ambassador, and your fantastic Ambassador Bingo goes down a treat in the room. So I think that's 10. I think that's all of them.
And I've got to pick up what you said there. You've got some really highbrow sponsors there, great sponsors that are getting involved and keeping this awards where they should be. And of course, you just talked about the Junior Award, Junior Citizen. There's got to be tears along the way somewhere, hasn't there? There must have been.
Yeah, I mean, Young Citizen is a fantastic category. It's lovely to see. We go from age 9 just because we found that that's a good age to bring them in through. Any younger and they find the experience a little bit too overwhelming. But yeah, I mean, we had some amazing Young Citizens this year. A few of them were a bit nervous and anxious, but we lead them through the process and we're there for them every step of the way. I mean, I even went up on stage with one of them this year just to hold their hand, and yeah, it's amazing to see them flourish through the process.
Again, to get these awards so neat and tidy as you do, there must be a lot of work that starts at the start of the year, culminating in the awards. So give us a little bit of a rundown of what you actually do over the 12 months before. There must be loads going on.
I'll sit this one out because it's all Amanda.
Crikey, where do I start? I mean, it literally just started about less than a month after the actual awards. So obviously we start touching base with sponsors, asking them if they want to support again, starting to think about the process. There's a lot of administration that goes on behind the scenes. So filing systems are reset, created, administration tasks are ticked off to-do lists. And then nominations open with our new summer barbecue. So we have a nomination launch where we go up to the fantastic venue, the Dunes, and we have a barbecue where people can come along and celebrate the nomination launch and do a little bit of what we call ABCD networking, which Dave, I'm sure, will go into a bit of detail in a bit. But so we have the nomination launch, and the nominations are open pretty much up until through the end of September. And I think, we're getting on pushing at least, what's the number now, Dave?
We're touching 800 nominations, and every year we get closer and closer to that 1,000.
So,
well, immediately that's telling you something. How many people want to get involved? I mean, that is something really, really special. And it's nice to have the launch as well. So people know that this launch is now open. And of course, you must have a website, you must have your social medias, and we'll talk about the numbers because the numbers are really fancy. So we'll let the listeners know towards the end of the podcast these fantastic numbers. But if somebody wants to nominate somebody, what have they got to do?
So we have worked really hard over the years to make sure that you can nominate digitally or actually in person now. So digitally, you just go along to our website, which is usually lovebarrowawards.co.uk/nominate. And when the form is open, it's on that page. And it's just a digital form. You fill it out, you give us your details, and then that's as simple as. It takes maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. I will just say now, the more detail, the better chance they have of getting through. But everybody that gets nominated gets a certificate, so it is worth just popping on and nominating somebody, even if it's just they're an amazing person. Give us the details. We'll make sure they get a certificate at the end of the cycle when everybody's coming to the awards in March. Everybody that was nominated gets a certificate. But we've also been working really hard with some local organisations. We are working with Vision Support to make sure that we provide a version of the form that's suitable for people with vision problems. We're working with some of the community centres like Ormskirk Stronger Together to make sure there's physical versions of the forms out there, but also where some of the physical forms are, like Ormskirk Stronger Together, they also allow people to come in and use their tablets, and they'll help them fill out the form. So we're working on making sure that it's as accessible as possible to everyone.
So moving forward, you're getting all these nominations coming in day by day, and you're up towards 800, and probably the way things are going, you're going to be touching 1,000. So what sort of process are you using to do the judging?
Well, we have an amazing committee behind us that sit down and do what we call pre-judging. So they work through every single nomination form gets read by a person at least, and they are scored, and then their score will help us determine who gets moved forward through the process. So that's quite a long administrative process, but we have an amazing team that help us every year judge. So,
and I think anybody out there that's on social media, you can't fail to actually see people that, they've been nominated, they haven't gone through to the finals, but they've been given a certificate, and they are proud to post a picture on Facebook and Instagram with their certificate. I mean, wow, everybody is getting a pat on the back. This Love Barrow Awards does not miss anybody out at all. It is wholly embracing of this community.
So this is the reason why the podcast exists, because unfortunately, as great as we are limited to the amount of time on the night, the amount of time that we can spend filming and capturing the finalist stories. And we do know there are great nominations that are coming through that just don't maybe have the detail, or just it's so competitive they don't get the opportunity. So Community Crumpet is a tasty slice of community spirit that allows us to revisit past finalists, but also tell some of the stories that might otherwise get missed, so we can tell more of these stories and inspire more of the community.
And I think that's why we are such a friendly area to come into. Like, say, the Furness community, everybody's linked into each other, and we try and support each other. So all these feel-good factors and the feel-good stories, it kind of takes away from some of the disappointing things that we see all around the world today and whatnot. So the community awards are playing a huge part in keeping people positive and looking forward. So on that, there must be some stories, surely, over the years, 20 years, you must have a story each where you think, oh, I remember that lady, or I remember that young lad and what he said, and this was great. What have you got?
So the stories that stick out for me the most is where people come back to you and tell you that being part of the awards has made a huge difference in their life. So we have people that have come through in the past that were looking at giving up their jobs or giving up the voluntary work that they were doing because they just felt like they weren't getting anything out of it anymore. But coming through the awards has just made them realise that the outpouring of love they saw on social media for the work they're doing is just been amazing, and it's really helped rekindle their passion for their volunteering or their project or their organisation. We had one lady that was part of a community organisation because she had experience personally herself of being in a situation that they deal with, and she wasn't making any inroads with local organisations and authorities in being taken seriously, even though she had experience. And then after the awards, she got approached by all the local authorities. We want you on board. We want your experience. And that was purely on the back of being part of the awards. So it's amazing to think we're not just celebrating people, we're actually really making a difference in people's lives, which is amazing.
There's no two ways. You are making great differences in people's lives. Dave, you've got a story, surely?
Yeah, well, there are so many. I think one of the things that I like the most about the Love Barrow Awards is that sense of surprise that people get often. You see that very often on the nomination certificates when they are posted on social media, and it's just like, oh my God, I just do what I do. And then that outpouring of, no, you're amazing, I think you're amazing, and everyone else thinks they're amazing. And for us, that moment of surprise is represented in things like the People's Choice Award, it's like the Ambassador Award, Spirit of Collaboration now. But my favourite story of all time was when the Love Barrow Awards was actually nominated for an award from the Love Barrow Awards, which we felt was a little bit, well, self-congratulatory, I suppose would be the word. And so the committee, in secret, decided at the time John Irving, who was the last surviving original founder member, should get a surprise Lifetime Achievement Award. And the look on his face, because he had no idea about it, he was backstage, and the look on his face, we had Darren McSweeney in position to take a sneaky photo, so we caught the moment of absolute shock and pleasure at the fact that his hard work and efforts had been recognised, for me really encapsulates the moment that the Love Barrow Awards are announced, because everyone, regardless of whether they're a finalist or a winner, they are surprised, and just to be in the room for them is an amazing thing.
Yeah, and those early days where we talk about John and those that know him, Swerve, you know, from those early days where he brought these awards and his vision, he took them forward, and then where John took a step back and you two guys came in, you've taken it to a complete new level, and you've taken it to a level of huge success. But where you get that success, there's always the challenges. There's got to be challenges along the way. What have you encompassed so far with the challenges?
So I would say that probably the biggest challenge for us over the years is to be really understanding the impact that the awards has. And because we're in it, if that makes sense, we're sweating in it. It's sometimes, it just feels like, oh, this is just, part of the job, if that makes sense. But every time we do meet the finalists and they say, I can't believe I'm here, it kind of it has eroded our sense of imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it, in terms of the fact that it does have such a big impact and it has such a high standing. And you mentioned it was the BAFTAs. I'd like to point out that we're called the Oscars of Barrow, not the BAFTAs. We're bigger. We're better. We're not just British.
That. And this is what Barrow in Furness and our locality is all about. We're not going to sell ourselves down, and we certainly can't with these awards. Dave, what you said there is absolutely perfect. And of course, listen, you've been doing this now for so many years. And with a lot of organisations, they go on for so many years, and then just gently, they've kind of reached their peak, and they just gently bow out. But it looks like there's no end to the success that's going to be gained by the Love Barrow Awards. What is keeping you two together to keep moving it forward?
Shared trauma, probably.
I tell you what, these two people in front of me look so fit and young. There's not one stress line on their bodies.
Tony, I had hair when I started this.
I wasn't grey.
But I tell listeners, honestly, these are two of the nicest guys you could ever wish to meet. And the hard work that they're putting in is something very, very special. So, I mean, moving forward, if there's anybody that would like to get involved on the periphery and try and support in any way that they could, is there any opportunities for that sort of volunteering?
I mean, we're always open to people getting in touch. Like Dave mentioned before, we have a queue for sponsors, which is amazing. But there are lots of great projects on the horizon, like this one, for instance, that we're working on at the moment, Community Crumpet. It's there are lots of ideas. There are lots of ways that we might need people in the future. But for now, I'd just be like, you know what? Get involved with the awards, nominate, share, like. If you can get involved by just liking a Facebook post, that is amazing. Because if everybody just likes the post, then the reach is better, the reach is bigger. If you want to message us, just pick up Facebook or email there's contact forms on the website. We're always happy to hear from people.
And of course, you've just talked there about your social media likes and hitting that like button. Listeners, you've got to listen to these numbers because these numbers are absolutely phenomenal. So give us all your numbers that you know around the social medias, because these are quite special and they're quite frightening just to realise how much reach the Love Barrow Awards is getting out there.
So everyone's looking at me because I do quite like numbers.
Well, you're the stato. You're the stato.
Don't call me that, Tony. I am not the stato. We were always kind of like looking at the numbers and just in terms of the reach, because we really wanted to make sure that we could not only kind of like inspire the community, but justify the sponsors' investment in the awards. So in the last year, so that kind of like ends March 2026, the last awards, we had 4 million views on Facebook alone.
Say that again, how many views?
That's 4 million. That's 4 with 6 zeros after it.
Fantastic.
And then those views are basically split up between 300,000 individual people. 85%, so a majority of people are in the Furness area. So that's Barrow, that's Ulverston, that's Dalton, that's Askham, and let's not forget the great island of Walney off the coast of the UK.
Those numbers are absolutely mind-blowing, they really are. And again, it's down to the work that you two have put in over many years. And of course, you've got a committee around yourself, and you've actually gone into now looking into a CIC company aligned to the Love Barrow Awards. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we've been a CIC for coming up for 2 years soon. We just thought it was a really good way to cement the awards in the local community. People that understand how CICs are set up will understand when I say our asset lock is Women's Community Matters. So if anything was to happen to the awards, the assets of the awards goes to Women's Community Matters. So it all stays in the community. Me and Dave just wanted to future-proof the awards because we're not going to be around forever. I mean, we're not going anywhere, don't worry. You better not go anywhere. We plan to be here for a long time, but, future-proofing the awards was really important to us because we have put a lot of work, sleepless nights, sweat, tears into it. And so for us, making sure that there was a legacy there that somebody could maybe take from us when the time comes was really important. So the CIC felt like the first logical step.
And there's another element here that you did on the launch day for 20 years last year. You talk about the A, B, C and the D. Explain on that. How are you supporting people out there as well?
Okay, I'm going to pick up on this because this is something that I rant to people, whoever wants to listen. So ABCD stands for Asset-Based Community Development. And the idea is that so many people, so many groups, so many organizations in the community, and the community itself has assets. So these assets are things that you might take for granted, but could be of great use. And if you link up these assets together, you gain real opportunities to make a difference in the community. So the asset-based community development networking that happens at the barbecue, the nomination launch, we look at projects because there are fantastic projects that either people are doing right now or thinking of. We look at people, from individual volunteers to hordes of apprentices from kind of like local businesses. We've got resources. So businesses, obviously in these cash-strapped times, businesses do find it quite hard to hand over cash, but they can provide resources that they could just write off because they get a tax break on it, they get all these kinds of things. So it works. But resources can also be not just stuff, but skills. So just because you might kind of like go, well, I've got 30 years as a carpenter, for example, and you kind of like maybe put that to one side. Can you imagine what that resource could be used for a place that needs somebody to work a little bit of wood? Absolutely. And then you've got funding, obviously, because regardless of what happens, some money does make things move. And if you link all of these things up together along with places, so kind of like they can be rooted in the community, you actually have all the assets that you need in order to make great things happen from things that people maybe are not thinking of. And in terms of people getting in contact with us, we'd always take that attitude in terms of let us know, because we might not be able to use your skills in volunteering, but we probably know somebody who could.
So you're acting as a really, really a cool conduit there for other organisations. I mean, this is
I think
really,
I'm cool, Tony.
I mean, this is really special to hear, Dave. It really is. I mean, there's another bolt-on now to the actual awards. So many different facets to it. It's great. But I'll just build up on something else as well. I believe you do a little bit of a charity check at the end of the night on the awards, which there's a local organisation benefits.
Yeah, so as long as I can remember, there's been a raffle at the awards where people give money on the night. They just give whatever they can. We don't ask for specific amounts. We have loads of local organisations that are so generous in their support that give prizes out. And so, so the people in the room will give us money, and then they go into the draw. And then we choose a local organisation. So what generally happens is when the nominations come in, we usually start to see a theme. So the award cycle that's just gone, for example, was youth empowerment seemed to be the predominant theme that was coming through the nominations. And so we thought, how can we help? And obviously we were like, well, there's a local theatre company, Cast Theatre Company. They had an amazing initiative called Pay It Forward, where they were giving tickets to people that perhaps couldn't afford to be able to go to the theatre or wouldn't have access normally to the arts. And we were just like, well, youth empowerment, it's supporting the arts, it's supporting young people. So that's how we choose our raffle recipient. Somebody did actually come up to me at the end of this awards and was just like, how do I get a bit of that money? And I was just like, well, it's the nomination. So it's almost like the community just actually pick the not the recipient, but the theme of the recipient each year. So, and we had an amazing record-breaking 1,300 raised this year. So if
1,322.
So if you think about it, that's 180
and that's
plus
just
people.
In the room. That's just in the room.
180 guests giving so generously and amazingly. So, but obviously we couldn't do that without the generous support of all the people that give the prizes. So thank you to everyone that's ever given a prize, however big or small it was. It all counts. So.
Absolutely. And I'm also aware that there's a lovely bunches of flowers that make the way after the Love Barrow Awards up to the hospice in Ulverston, and they're very grateful. Yeah,
so we have obviously Efflorescence, the local florist, are amazing. They also provide a raffle prize, thank you. So they do our table arrangements. They always look fantastic, always themed in the pink and blue of the awards. And it got to a few years ago before we really sort of got heavily involved with the awards. And I was watching the bouquets be walked off out of the awards, and I just thought, not that I minded people taking the flowers, they were only going to be thrown out anyway. But I thought, what can we actually do with these flowers that's better than somebody walking off home with them? And then St Mary's came to mind, because I think we'd filmed up there a few times with recipients of nominees and things. So, and I spotted that they had flowers about, and so I asked the committee and suggested it, and so all 18 floral bouquets now the next morning, thanks to our wonderful committee, Dave Coverdale, thank you, get picked up in the morning from Abbey House and get taken up to St Mary's, and those flowers go into the patient rooms and the family rooms, and they last for weeks apparently. I mean, kudos to Efflorescence for the quality of the flowers, because they last for weeks, and I've been told the feedback from the nurses and the patients are just, they think it's wonderful. It's amazing. And you just think, well, it's a small thing we can do for the amazing work they're doing up there, so. It
is awesome. And listen, when you're enjoying yourself, time flies, and we are closing now, and we're just approaching 30 minutes, our allotted time. But there's still a couple of things that I'd just like to ask as well. For the listeners, your timeline now for the awards, what's actually happening? What are the key dates now moving forward to the awards?
So nominations will be open in
27th of June.
27th of June, that's right, sorry, too many dates in my head. 27th of June, that's obviously our nomination launch in the barbecue up at the Dunes Hotel. And then nominations usually close around September, so long time for people to get their, plenty of time for them to get their nomination in. And then we usually start filming in October with the finalists.
So your filming takes place with the finalists. Where do you do your filming at?
So we are based at the Holiday Inn Express Barrow.
Great.
The team there are amazing. They're so generous with their time and their facilities. So we basically camp out at the hotel for a week and we bring people in. So we get everybody interviewed, all 24 people in 1 week. So it's a bit of a logistical feat, but we do it. It works. It's good.
Everything you've talked about, the businesses and the people that support, it's like a who's who of the best in the area, and it's great. And everybody's aligned to the Love Barrow Awards. It is truly, absolutely fantastic.
I want to know what you think of the Love Barrow Awards, because you are a key part of it.
Well, the Love Barrow Awards to me is absolutely phenomenal. And fortunately for me, I've been involved probably since day one. I might have missed 1 year, but I was involved from day one. And I started that first year by giving out an award. It was a sports award. And from that day, that evening, you could see the excitement with just a small number of awards, the excitement with people's faces. And probably to reiterate what you've already said, people are just taken aback. It lifts them to another plane, and it does. And from those many years and get to where I am now, I feel very privileged to be part of Love Barrow Awards. Me get many, many friends now, people networking. And there's one little thing that seems to have taken off, me wearing a daft dinner jacket. So there's always a dinner jacket reveal on the evening. And I will say, this last evening at the awards, I'm just walking from behind the curtain, going to the stage, and all I could hear from a table at the front, oh my God, look at that jacket. I tell you what, it sets myself up for the night. And of course, somebody just said to me, you look like something out of Quality Street with that purple jacket. I tell you what, the friendship, the banter, the Love Barrow Awards is absolutely fantastic. But from me to you, 2 questions, one each. I am giving you a golden wand to be able to change anything in this world. What would it be, Amanda?
Oh, gosh. I would just want the world to just start getting along with each other and stop fighting. And just realise that we're stronger together, not apart.
Stronger together is absolutely perfect. And now then, I don't think you're going to be able to top that, Dave, but what's yours?
Brace yourself. If I could change one thing, I think it would be to give the people who want to make a real difference in the world the confidence to be able to do it, because we meet so many people who do amazing things and they don't know they're doing it. If those people had the confidence to go +1, just even a little bit further, and if everyone did that, the world would be a better place.
2 great choices with your golden ones there. Now listen, listeners, you've been listening to the Community Crumpet podcast, and I've been privileged today, Amanda Jesson and DT Dave here. I tell you what, they are the ringleaders, they are the leaders, they are taking the Love Barrow Awards to a new level, a level that, can we get there? Because it's already at this level in the sky. But guys, thank you for coming in today. It's been great to see you. Hopefully we'll see you soon, and big love with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. I'm really looking forward to the next podcast.
Happy days.